All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So this is week 2 of Jocks with Docs podcast. I am Doc Smith. On the other side of the camera here is Doc Will. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our content from last week, and we'll pick up again this week and kind of touch on some different topics. First one I think we were going to discuss was go back to Major League Baseball and discuss the events that happened over the weekend with Albert Pujols hitting 700, and last night Aaron Judge hit number 61. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I was watching the game, and I thought it was awesome. It was cool for Judge to have his mother there. I thought that was awesome. He gave the ball to her, dedicated it, the hard work to his mother. I like that a lot. And also what I really liked is he's been on fire, but he hasn't been hitting home runs in the last 8 games because he's been an all-around hitter. So
right,
you can see 2 strikes and he still hit that ball.
Yeah,
out of hit it pretty good too. So it was exciting. Yeah. And it was cool to have Roger Maris Jr. there, his son, next to his mom. So
I think maybe he probably appreciates that a lot more than back in '97. I think at that time, I think the Marises appreciated it, but then since, the Peds have, kind of tainted McGuire and Sosa's legacies and, even Bonds, I think the Maris family kind of soured on that. So I think they're probably, and plus being the Judge of the Yankees, so I think that matters to them as well. So I think, since, as far as we know, Judge is clean. I mean, he's never tested positive for PEDS or anything like that. So, and they get tested multiple times throughout the year. It's not like it used to be where it was glossed over, but, so I think I think the Maris family definitely appreciated it. And it was pretty cool, too. I think what you had called, we were talking about Pujols, you had called, I texted you, and you said that he was going to hit 2 on Friday night.
Yeah,
or something like that. I think you said he was going to hit it on the road, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. And sure enough, he ended up freaking hitting both of them.
Yep, in Dodger Stadium, which was awesome.
Pretty cool too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously you wanted him to do it at Busch, right?
Right.
But if he can't, why not at Dodger Stadium where he just played? So
yeah, and I think the Dodger fans definitely appreciate just the small amount of time that he was there. Even 6 months that he was there. I think he came in May. That little bit of time they appreciated him. And I think the Dodgers players read an article and talked about how much they liked Pujols and always gave him big hugs whenever they came into home plate or whatever. So it's good to see that a guy like Pujols is definitely appreciated for his contributions to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll ever see another. I don't think in our lifetime we may see another person hit 700. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, because what do you have to do with 700 is longevity, right?
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
At least 30 home runs a season for 20 years, unless you get to 40 or whatever.
Yep.
So that's hard to do.
The only person I thought who had a shot at it would have been Judge, but he started 4 years too late.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because he's already have over 200. Right. But he already has over 200 home runs.
Do you think he re-signs with the Yankees next season?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, if
you think so,
I'm telling you right now, if Hal Steinbrenner lets him walk out the door, they might burn Yankee Stadium down.
I think so.
I mean, that's how much he's meant to. I mean, he's single-handedly carried the Yankees this year.
Because I could see the Mets swooping in and trying to sign him.
I think
even though their payroll is high, I mean, I could see the Mets trying to.
I don't think the Mets will get him. I think actually the Dodgers, because
Bellinger or that too. Yep.
Bellinger does not look good. So his swing,
is he a free agent this offseason?
No, but his shoulder after that surgery, he's just not the same. So and that's one of those. Do
they have any money coming off the books next year?
No, it's just, I mean, look at their payroll. It's only behind the Mets. That's where one.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a problem, spending money and going over the luxury tax. I don't think
they go over number 2, right? Yeah, they don't care. They have the richest owner in all sports. So,
but it's just where do you put him at? In the lineup and everything.
Well, and Judge. So the thing is, they DH him a lot, but he plays Gold Glove right field, right? You don't want to put him in right because Mookie is better defensively. So what I would do is I'd keep Mookie at right or move Mookie to second and move Judge to right. Because Mookie likes second base and move Max Muncy to first. Because that means Bellinger won't have to play center field if you want to keep Bellinger. If you bring
Freeman DHing.
And free agent. Yep. Exactly.
Just
obviously
do the
starts at
rotation
first.
like that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because then you don't have a left fielder either, right?
No.
You see what I'm saying? So Gavin Lux, you can move Gavin from second to left.
Right.
So and he's
a
been
lot of things
good.
they can. Yeah. A lot of
Dave
options
Roberts
for them.
Yep. So let's so we're talking playoffs. Let's get back to the playoff talk though. I'm excited about the playoffs though.
It was pretty cool to see that, St. Louis and New York clinched their division last night or 2 nights ago, I guess, on the same night. So that was pretty cool to see.
Oh, you're talking about the Yankees, though, right? Because the Mets.
Yeah, it was cool for me because I think we had Harrison Bader and we traded him for Jordan Montgomery, so he ended up getting to pop champagne the same night as his former team. So I was glad to kind of see him, at least make the playoffs.
Still rooting for Bader, right? Still rooting for him. He's a good kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but,
But
you were talking about like the other teams and everything. I don't know. Who do you think gets the final wild card spot?
So that's an iffy one. The Brewers have been really scuffling.
Mm-hmm.
They
just lost another pitcher, and
They
Hauser.
just lost another pitcher, even though Adrian hasn't done that good this year. He's still a pitcher. He's an innings eater, but their lineup is trash.
Yeah.
They can't hit.
Fell off hard.
Fell off.
He went off.
He had a serious surgery, though. That microfracture surgery it's bad. So but they just don't have offense. I mean, their best hitter this year has been their catcher, and their first baseman. But
Rowdy Tellez.
Rowdy Tellez. So they got him from the Blue Jays. That's a good pickup. But get back to their pitching though, too, because not only is the lineup struggling, but then the pitching. So you have Corbin Burns and you got what's his name, the Brandon Woodruff.
Right.
They haven't been pitching as good in the second half, and the first half they were lights out. And so if you're not getting hitting, you're not getting good pitching, then you see what happens. The Brewers fell out of it. You remember, not even 2 months ago, the Brewers were right there.
They were 4 games over the Cardinals.
That's what I'm saying.
I think July 30th or something like that.
So we're talking 2 months ago, or almost 2 months to the day.
Yeah.
And now you're nowhere to be seen. You're about to get
Cardinals.
bounced.
I think Cardinals won after the All-Star break. It went 37-17 or 35-17, something like that. And the Brewers went 25-28 or something like that. They
under
just
500.
fell off. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so, I think a lot has to do with the schedule too. The Brewers were playing better teams. They played the Dodgers 6 times,
right?
And they lost 5 of those games. That hurts, You start playing, but the Cardinals just played the Dodgers 3. They won the first and then lost.
And they
the next 2?
The other 2. Yeah.
So the Dodgers have been playing the Cardinals better. I would say the last 3 years. I think the Dodgers.
And the Cardinals' bats are kind of cold right now, so hopefully they start kind of heating up towards. As we get headed towards the playoffs, hopefully they can get their bats going.
Yeah, you got to get hot, right? But the most consistent team this year, all year, has been the Dodgers. Start. I mean, they just broke the record for them, 107. They got 8 games left, so they can hit 115, one shy of the record if they win out. Which I think I think they do win out. Who do they play? Rockies for 6, and then 2 games against the Padres, so they can win out. The Padres suck. The Padres this year against the Dodgers, it's something ridiculous.
Do you think the Dodgers will start resting some of their players to prepare for the playoffs? I
do, because now you broke the franchise record, and they're not going to break the MLB record. So I think they start resting now, especially Kershaw. Even though he's looked good these last 3 starts, what's his ERA? 0.5 the last 3 starts. You want him healthy, though. So let him or skip a start.
And they got a pretty decent break between the end of the season and the beginning of the
and plus they have the bye.
Actually play. Yeah, plus that's what I'm saying. So their bye week will be they'll have a pretty good decent amount of time off.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't hurt them too much,
No, I think this year they're how do I want to say it? Dave Roberts has so much, and this year the bullpen is better than it's ever been in Dave Roberts' tenure.
And most of their players, have playoff experience. Most of them have played the last couple of seasons in the playoffs. Freeman with Atlanta, and then the rest of the Dodgers team is,
Yeah, Trey Turner won with the Nationals, Mookie with the Red Sox. Yeah, you got a lot.
Really, they don't have any rookies or anything like that on the team now. It's mostly a lot of veteran players.
And very good veterans, yeah. The only concern is Craig Kimbrell is no longer the closer.
Right.
But that's okay because you got so many arms that can fill it, Yeah. So that's necessarily not a bad thing. And closers are not as big. Look at the MLB now. The closers are really not big. Like it was
closer by committee a lot of times.
Correct.
It's like whoever's got the hot hand or matchups. Yep.
Yeah, and not so much lefty on lefty anymore, righty on righty. They're going off of because some hitters have weird, right? You have those splits where it's different. Who I'm trying to think, like Freddie Freeman is one of them. He actually hits better off of lefties. Not many lefties do that. Well, Freddie's one of them. I think Freddie's been the best hitter this year in all of baseball when it comes to hitting, though. He leads in hits. Batting average is over 330. And he can hit all over, right? You pull to pull, you have to play him. He's not a pull hitter. So, who else would you put up there? Goldsmith?
Which I think he's probably going to get the MVP.
Oh, he should. He absolutely should get it. Even though,
I think last couple weeks he's kind of been cold, but for the season he's been good.
Yeah, even though you can put Freddie and Mookie Betts in that talk. They definitely should be in the conversation. And Nolan Arenado, of course. So that kind of hurts Goldsmith having the teammate, but Arenado hasn't been as consistent as Goldsmith in my mind. But when you talk Gold Glove, holy shit. Arenado is another planet with his defense. But Goldsmith he's a Gold Glove.
Good too. Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like Freeman, just like Freddie and Mookie.
Right.
I think they both win. He won't get the Gold Glove, Freddie, because it'll probably go to Goldsmith at first, but he'll get the silver. He'll get the silver again.
Yep. Yeah. And Mookie's going to get the Gold Glove in right field because
he gets it every
right fielder in Major League Baseball. In the National League.
Not in the National League. In the American League, they have some better ones. Judge, that play good defense. But what's his name was good, too, for the Yankees. Gallo. He plays good. He's a Gold Glove. Yeah. He's made some nice catches in left. They're starting to make left field now.
Are they?
The Dodgers in DHing him, yep. So we'll see. The Dodgers is so loaded though.
Right.
Okay,
and he's not he's not having to play every day like he was in New York. He's kind of
less pressure.
Been a bench player, so it's kind of I think not playing in New York I think has helped him because I think LA is a huge the fan base is different in LA compared to New York.
Well, we're a lot more. Maybe not me, but a lot more laid back. You know what they say in LA, arrive late, leave early.
It's not
traffic.
Like New York, they're harsh to their players. Probably not as bad as Philadelphia, but
no one's as bad as Philadelphia. Nobody.
No.
Eagles
never ever go to a game in Philadelphia.
The Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, never. Never. Not like some of their players, right? Like Bryce Harper and Joel Embiid and trying to think for the Eagles who I like DeAndre Smith and then I like
Jalen Hurts.
I like Jalen a lot. I root for him. Alabama.
Well, speaking of football, let's go ahead and transition into the football National Football League and talk about maybe the Eagles and how well they've played this season because they played pretty darn good. I think they're 3-0 and got a tough team. Their defense is really good. Jalen Hurts is really turned it around this season.
Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts a lot from his days at Alabama, even before he transferred, to Oklahoma. And won the Heisman Trophy there. He's just tough. He's a tough guy. He did it all, right? Yeah. He did it all against that victory against the Lions. I think he threw for 3 and ran for 1. So. Having a great year. I think
the Eagles are a lock to win their division. They have no competition in the East.
I picked them in the beginning. None. And that's even if Dak was healthy.
Right.
This backup Cooper Rush comes in and he's already won 3 games.
Right.
I mean, is he better than Dak? Of course not. But right now, it's kind of lightning in a bottle because they couldn't game plan for Cooper. Everyone game planned for Dak, right? And so now you have to change things up. And but no, to get back to the Eagles, I like the Eagles a lot. Obviously, I'm a Steeler fan, so Western Pennsylvania, right? So the little Eagles versus Steelers, that would be a nice Super Bowl. But we're not going to the Super Bowl, the Steelers. But Eagles defense is where I'm shocked with them. Their secondary with Darius Slay that they got from the Lions. Speaking of the Lions, he's leading the league in interceptions. He had the big interception to win the game for them last week, against the Lions. So that's where I've been more impressed with them. I already knew they were going to run the ball because of Jalen and Miles Sanders. You knew they were going to throw it with DeAndre. Who's the other one? AJ Brown. They got him from the Titans. That's a good pickup. So I mean,
dumb
that's
move by the Titans.
Stupid move, and they needed him. I mean,
because they didn't want to pay him $100 million.
Yeah, and he's going to get paid, and now he's playing with Philly, and he's happy.
Right. Well, he's got a better quarterback. I mean,
much better quarterback.
Tannehill was good for about a year, and then he went back to Miami Dolphins version of Tannehill.
Exactly. I've never been a fan of his. He's a too turnover prone.
Yeah.
Too turnover prone.
I always rooted for him and hoped he would play well, but, and a couple seasons ago when they were doing really well and made it to the playoffs, I was, pretty excited for him. But, I mean, he's reverting back to what he was in Miami. So I don't see him lasting.
I was about to say, and somehow he was able to swindle $100 million from the Tennessee Titans. So we were talking football. So tonight, to just transition to the Thursday night game, you got the Bengals versus the Dolphins. It's about to start here in 3 minutes, actually. Who do you got tonight? Who do you got winning tonight?
I got Miami. I just think that they've actually surprised me and played pretty well this year, especially Tua. I didn't expect him to be playing as well as he has, and he's definitely turned it around compared to last season. I just don't see if the Bengals can possibly return to what they were last year, then they got a chance. But, like we talked, I don't know if their offensive line is going to play well this week, or they're going to go back to what they were, a couple weeks ago.
So you mentioned something good there by saying about Tua. So I'm a huge fan of him coming out of Alabama. So I think it was never Tua. Guess what the problem was? The offensive coordinator, the coach. You bring in Mike McDaniels, offensive mind, brilliant mind, young mind. By the way, he looks like the rapper. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Look like, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about? The rapper, the white boy? What's his name?
I don't know.
The one who does the Suicide song.
I have no idea. Oh,
come on, help me.
You talking about Logic?
Logic. He looks. Go look at him.
I can
Logic's black and white, even though he doesn't look like it. Well, guess what?
Right.
Mike McDaniels is black and white, just like me.
Oh, is he?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
I was like, I could have sworn he was a white dude.
So he comes in, and Tua, I think it does help to have, obviously, Jalen Waddle in the slot, Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, at the Z, so that does help you.
They got a good tight end.
He's got a good tight end. The offensive line is top 5 in the league. He's got time. You saw, especially against the Ravens. How long did he hit? I mean, dude was back there chilling against the Ravens.
And that's what, I don't understand why more teams don't invest in their offensive line. That seriously. Should be the line should be offensive defense line should be your top
number one, top after quarterback. Absolutely. Right. You got to have a franchise. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you know who you look like? The Steelers. You know who you look like? The Browns.
Yep.
Right? Well, now they have Deshaun, so they think, but you're not going to win. Not in today's NFL. Not when you're going against Brady, Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, I hope he doesn't get hurt. Pay the brother.
Yeah.
Please pay him.
Oh, he's going to get paid.
I mean,
$300 million.
But is he going to get paid by the Ravens, though? Because I feel Ed Reed said it on his radio show the other day. He's scared because he was worried about it. And Ed Reed at that time was going for a $10 million contract. Well, guess what? Lamar's going for 40, 50 million annually. That's per year. I mean,
and the Ravens aren't known to spend that amount of money on
correct
a player.
Nope.
They're kind of like the Patriots, where they go and find talent and
correct. Yeah, what's the talent. Owner? It's the owner.
Yeah,
Steve Bisciotti, right? That's how he is. He's Italian. I can bring it in, and they can fit in our system.
Right.
Not Lamar. Look, you pay him. He is an MVP already. He's only 24, right? He's about to be 25. He's look at the year he's having already. And you know who could end
up snatching him up?
Who?
Tampa Bay.
Because he's a Florida boy.
Brady's retiring.
And he's a Florida boy.
Yeah, yep. And they'd be willing to throw the money at him.
Oh, they definitely. And it would be – now that would be smart. But I don't think he leaves Baltimore. I don't want to see him leave Baltimore. And this is a Steeler fan in the AFC North. I like Lamar. I want him to stay in the purple and black. I know you're a Bronco fan first, but you do like the Ravens too. So
yeah,
you know,
I just don't like. And there's really no other teams that really need a quarterback besides Tennessee and.
Well, because the Jaguars, another one. We're talking.
They got Trevor Lawrence.
I like
had
Trevor.
A heck of a resurgence.
Again, they hired the right guy for the job, Doug Peterson, who did a heck of a job with the Eagles.
Freaking Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Worst freaking. Why would you stay away from the college quarterback?
Please.
College coaches. Stay away from the college coaches.
I agree. Harbaugh should have taught everyone that.
Right.
Now,
but I mean, Trevor Lawrence is just. I mean, he's turned it around. He had a good game last week.
But you say turn it around. I still think it was the coach and the system. That's the thing we have to see. These quarterbacks are struggling because they're getting put into a system that they're not conducive to running. So if you're Trevor Lawrence and you're used to running a pro-style offense at Clemson, and then you come into the pros and they're running a college offense,
right?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
No, and
that's why I understand like why a lot of teams play to your quarterback's strength. Why would you change everything and make him to where he's not capable of being up to his full potential?
Right, like getting underneath. He's a shotgun quarterback. That's what he ran at Clemson. Oh, and the coaches always say, well, in the pros, you got to get under the – no, you don't. Let him be comfortable from the gun.
Yep.
You have more time. It's easier to make decisions from the gun. You're off. You're off 3-4 yards.
Right.
He's comfortable in the gun. Let him run the gun. Yep. So what does Doug Peterson do?
Let's run the gun.
He installs essentially the Clemson offense.
Right.
And just let him do RPOs. And Trevor is athletic. He's a big kid. He's got a strong arm. Look at that throw he made to who was the wide receiver? Was it Chark, I think? They got him from where'd they get Chark from? I don't remember. But he was a free agent. But he hits him up the seam. Perfect throw, 60-yard touchdown. And the Jaguars blew the doors off.
38-10.
Hello. That's on the road. That's not at home.
Against the Chargers, who played pretty well the previous week.
But you travel all the way from Jacksonville, Florida to LA. Right. So, you're 3 hours behind.
Right.
And they went in there and they smoked them. Yeah. I mean, there was a no-doubter. The game was over in the first quarter. So
I don't think there's a lot of, with the quarterbacks, I don't think there's a lot of drop-back quarterbacks anymore. I think now primarily it's in the gun.
Correct. Well, because Breeze is gone.
Yeah.
Right. Brady will be gone after this year. I don't think Brady comes back next year. I didn't think he wanted to come this year. I think what happened was him not wanting to go out sour. Right. I think he was not happy about that NFC, the championship game, and then going to the, he just didn't like it. You don't want to go out not winning the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Right. That's how he
especially as competitive he is. And
exactly.
I think it's always going to be in his nature to want to play. I think he's just so competitive and just wants to be out there playing. It's going to be hard for him to retire, which I'm sure it was hard for Manning to retire, but Manning knew it was time to hang it up.
After the next surgery.
Not that Brady has fallen that far off from, he's 25,000 yards last year, but at some point you got to kind of, hey, maybe it's time to hang it up, especially with, with having a family and everything.
Right. And then also you worry about his health too, though. I mean, he's been healthy, but he is 44.
Right.
He does have kids, a beautiful wife. He needs to be with his family.
Yeah.
So now we were talking young quarterbacks. To get to my favorite young quarterback in the league actually is Josh Allen. What do you think about Josh Allen This last game when they lost to the Dolphins, by the way, division game, great game. I just felt they left so many plays on the field. I mean, he still threw for over 400 yards.
Yes.
He threw 3 touchdowns and ran 2. So
it was just
what do you
a
feel about
surprising
Josh?
loss too. I mean, he's a great quarterback. I think, like you were talking about with the system, I think he found a system that works for him because, you know, when he first came into the league, he was another young quarterback that had some issues. They didn't know if he was going to, you know, if he was going to be a bust or if and then his third year in, he ended up, you know, playing really well. So I think that the system fits him well, and as long as he continues progressing, he'll be fine. But, you know, I think if they were to change the system, I think he has issues from there. He may end up going back to what he was.
Yeah. I don't know so much about that just because he's so athletic. His accuracy at times, it showed up, or the lack of accuracy showed up against the Dolphins. But give credit to the Dolphins. It was hot as shit in Miami. So field temperature, I think, got above 100 degrees. So the Bills were tired. You had to come up north where it's 50, 60 degrees in Buffalo, New York, and to go into that humidity. So hats off to the Dolphins defense. They were playing very good. Even though they gave up a lot of yards, they didn't give up the big plays in the second half. You know?
Right.
And so they pulled that. That was a good game. I think that was the game of the year for me. So
it was surprising. I didn't expect it to, you know, be as close as it was and the Dolphins to win. But, I mean, I didn't expect them to beat the Ravens, you know, come back from however many touchdowns. They were down 3 touchdowns.
I know. It's about to say down 19 points. Yep.
That was just crazy.
Yeah, with only 7 minutes on the clock. I mean, what did they score? 20-something points in 7 minutes? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a blitz. Well, a lot of it is credit to Tua, right? And them throwing the ball, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, their tight end, and their offensive line, they just they bombarded or blitzed, shall I say, the Ravens. Harbaugh was looking. I just seen him on the sideline, like, what the hell just happened?
No clue what was happening.
No clue, because they were getting hit, and it was big play. That big play to Tyreek. Was it 60 yards? Right, the 60-yard bomb where he got behind the safety. Safety looking in the backfield. Why are you looking in the backfield? Eyes on the quarterback. It's play action. There goes Tyree. There goes Cheetah. Runs right by the safety. I mean, if he's even, he's leaving. That's what they say, right? I mean, that's how fast he is. So you don't let him get behind you.
You know, that's the same way with the Broncos. I think their first game, I mean, they just looked – their secondary looked horrendous. I don't know what was happening because they were getting burned like several plays, you know, the first couple of series. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And I swear, I don't want to see Melvin Gordon see another freaking field as long as I live, because that dude cannot hold on to the ball.
He can't hold on to it, but he had a good year for you guys last year and 2 years ago. And he's
almost cost us how many games?
He's from Kenosha, Wisconsin. You're right down the road from where I live. So he's a Wisconsin boy, you know, Madison boy.
Right.
But I don't know why you don't just start Devontae, or what's his name?
Javonte Adams.
Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams, right? Because I like him.
I think he does start, but I think they're still trying to do what they did last year, just splitting the carries up, and it's just
it's because he starts, but he can't pass protect. That's his problem.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know the line, your Broncos line is not the best. Right. Russell's already been sacked like 15 times, only behind your boy in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, lead the league at 19. Oh, my God.
Which is not surprising.
No.
But, I mean, I think like we saw last week with the win in San Francisco, I think they need to let Russell play his game. Stop trying to make him a pocket quarterback. Let him run, create plays, do what he's got to do. And, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that the coach of the Broncos, Hackett, isn't doing that.
We talked about this before when he got hired. I never was a fan of his when he was in Detroit or when he was with the Seahawks.
He was in Green Bay last year, which I think is why he got the job.
Yeah, I just don't think he's a play caller. Like, I know that's what his pedigree is, but where he comes from, but I'm not sold on him. I do like that the Broncos went offensive, because you saw last 2 times you went defense with Fangio and What was his brother's name?
Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph, who I like for defense, not as a head coach. Because he came from the dude that's with the Steelers now for the Dolphins.
Mike Tomlin?
The defense coordinator that Tomlin hired. He's black too. Remember the one that sued the NFL?
Oh, yeah. I can't think of his name.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of his name. But
former coach for the Dolphins.
Yes. And so now he's the defensive coordinator / linebacker coach with the Steelers because they fired Coach Butler last year. But anyways, I was saying about the Dolphins. They have a lot of talent there coming out. Not only offensively but defensively too. So
right. And speaking of the Steelers, and what do you think Mitch Trubisky holds on to the reins, or do you think they eventually give it to Kenny Pickett?
Tomlin should have started Kenny Pickett from week 1. The kid's been ready. He didn't miss a pass in preseason. I mean, he was lights out, 2 touchdowns and ran for 1, so 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. What else do you want from a rookie quarterback?
Right.
It's just crazy. Now, Mitch is a very good backup. Yeah. He's a solid starter, okay? If you have an offensive line. We might have the worst offensive line in the NFL right now. And I'm not joking. Yeah. Najee Harris, when he gets the ball, he has nowhere to run.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
And you need to get him going.
And he ran for 1,500 yards last year somehow. Right. That just shows you how talented he is. Now, can you imagine if he was running behind, say, the Dolphins offensive line? He'd look like, what's his name from the Tennessee Titans? Derrick Henry and Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson ran for 2,000 yards, right? Yeah. There's only 2 backs that ran for 2,000 yards in the last 10 years. Derrick Henry and Chris Johnson, both from the Titans.
Right.
So I would like to see Pickett. I don't think he starts this week against the Jets. Flacco's not there. They're starting the young
Zach
guy
Wilson
from Utah, BYU, Zach Wilson. So he was cleared. I like that because Flacco actually plays good against the Steelers. So I actually put in the young quarterback. Maybe we can get some pressure on him. Right. Even though TJ's not there, our defense does not look the same. But it's because a lot more 3-and-outs and pressure. When you're playing 45 minutes of a 60-minute game, your defense is going to be tired.
Yep.
So that's been the Steelers' problem. So, and the Browns beat us pretty good. You know why? Yeah. They ran the ball, controlled 2/3 of the clock, right? Time of possession, and they played solid defense. So
right. So you got 2 good running backs as well, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
And Chubb be number 1, and Hunt looked good in the game too. He caught the touchdown, right? He got the touchdown from Jacoby. So we'll see.
Mitch has definitely, I think, got a short lease. I think the fans are going to be calling for him to be replaced if they don't win or he doesn't play well.
Yeah, and it's against the Jets, who are not as talented as the Steelers, and it's in Pittsburgh. They lose this game, he's donezo. Pickett will be start week 5 against, who they play, the Bills? I think it's the Bills in Buffalo. Okay. The hello. Talk about blowout city. Huh? Yeah. So if you don't put
that'd be a tough, that would be a tough start for him to have, right off the bat, because Buffalo's got a good defense. So, but I mean, like you said, you got to do something because you're
absolutely
4 games,
Yeah, you're going to be 1-3, or I think they win this game and they'll be 2-2. So the sky's not falling.
No. Yeah. And especially I think the AFC East is going to be, competitive, or I mean, not the East, but the AFC North is going to be pretty competitive. I mean, you got all 4 teams that are really good.
Yeah, even though the Bengals are 1-2, Steelers
if
are 1-2.
Cincinnati can get back on track.
Yes, yep, and Pittsburgh played better too. But you got the Ravens, the Browns playing better too. So they just got to hold out until they get Deshaun back in Week 11, and I think the Browns really have an outside chance of making it to the playoffs. I really do. I think you could have 3 teams from the AFC North again, a la 2 years ago, remember? When the Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals made it. Yep.
But it's going to be hard, too, which is I'm kind of super surprised by the Raiders. I didn't figure they would be 0-3 right now.
Okay.
They had a pretty good team. They had a couple of good, solid signings in off-season, but it was like I'm shocked that it didn't happen.
They have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. I've just never been a Carr fan. I just don't. How do they throw $200 million at that guy who's never proven?
Yeah.
anything.
And he's got Devontae Adams there now. So you have a very good and you've
a very
got
good
Waller.
tight end. Top 5 tight end.
But I think also their issue is, which the Broncos had this issue years ago, is Josh McDaniels.
That is the problem.
That guy is a hot garbage coach.
He's a hot garbage coach. Probably one of the best offense coordinators in the history of the game. Play calling off the chains. Just ask Nick Saban, ask Bill Belichick. They both want him back.
Right. But coaching-wise,
he can't.
No.
He cannot. But this is his third chance.
Yep.
He went to the Colts, left them.
Right.
Went back to the Patriots.
Yep.
Then got the Raider job after what happened with
Gruden.
Chucky. Yeah, you know.
Which they should have brought their coach back. I don't understand why they didn't bring the coach back.
The special teams guy, he did good.
Yes. Yeah, he played.
He's the reason why they went to the playoffs. They beat the Chargers that last game, and that's why the Steelers went to the playoffs.
I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand that either. What?
It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
No sense. And now they bring in McDaniels. They start off 0-3. I think their season's already over, Brad. I honestly do. And look what division
against
you're
the West.
In.
That's a tough division.
Yeah,
you have to win games in that division.
Absolutely. I mean, and they're not going to. They're not going to. They're going to lose to the Broncos. They're going to definitely lose to the Chiefs.
Yep.
And you don't have a chance against the Chargers. Yeah. And he lights them up. He loves playing the Raiders. I mean, so when he's healthy.
So I think Chiefs take the top seed.
Yeah, I think I still pick the Chargers. I still think the Chargers will win it. Yeah, I still like the Chargers better. But the thing that worries me is Bosa was put on the IR today, Joey. They show him as 4 weeks, maybe 5, they said. But he's coming back. And then more.
They still have a good secondary.
Their secondary is, and they still get after the passer very good. I'm just worried about Herbert. He looked really hurting in that game against the Jaguars. He did not look right.
Right.
So I think if I'm the Chargers, you can still win with your backup. The team is good.
Chase Daniels, he's still pretty good.
Yeah, let Chase get in there and at least see what he can do. He's healthy. Run the ball, play defense. And I would say for 2 to 3 weeks until they get to their bye, so he would get a full month of rest because he doesn't want to do the surgery on the ribs. So get a full month, and I think he'll feel better and then start to play with kind of like that thing that Aaron Rodgers had, remember, 4 years ago?
Everything.
The little padding, and then see how he does. But he says he wants to play. He got a shot before the game and at halftime. The cortisone, right into the ribs.
Well, hopefully they didn't puncture his ribs like their last quarterback had.
Like what's his name for?
He was with the Chargers.
He was with the Chargers. He's suing the trainer. What was his name?
I can't remember his name. I'd have to look it up.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, there you go.
Is Tyrod?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's Tyrod. So, yeah, he's suing him. I did see that. So.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess we can kind of wrap
it up here. Yep.
Area and kind of transition into our fantasy football. I think we were going to touch on that. And you beat me last week by freaking 6 points because of David Montgomery. And
you were banged up. You were banged up. Herbert and Montgomery.
I was so mad. I was like, man, I got this. I kept watching, and you had the tight end from Dallas who was out. And then you went and picked up somebody else real quick because you saw he was out.
Yeah, I picked up the other Cowboy. And he only got me 3 points though. But hey, every point counts.
Yeah, and it would have because of how close it was. And I guess, if Ty's watching this, because he was he posted on his TikTok about how he started off 0-3 now, and he's like talking about how he played the top scoring teams each week.
Because his team is good. That's what I told you when I looked at it. He was definitely in the top 3 I looked at. But then I told him, you played Brad, you lost. Or he played me first week, right? I think he played me the first week.
I think so.
And you and I are the 2 highest scoring teams. So, right. That's why I said that. So
and this
I said you can still start 0-3 and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who's he played this week?
No, it's not CDs. I think he played CDs last week. I can't remember who he is playing, but
he should get his first dub.
Yeah.
So Ty, if you're watching, you get your first dub.
You'll
be 1-3, right?
You still ain't winning the money though. I mean, that's not happening.
Oh man!
Travis might get first and take the the $100. I'll get the $50. You know,
the second prize. Well, you never know. You you'll be right there. So
Yeah, it'll be close. I got a pretty good team. I was happy with. I think that's like, and I hadn't played for a couple of years, but I think with a lot of, I don't know what your strategy is. Mine is, I kind of look at like some of the people to avoid. Like I'll look at the teams of who they play for. Like I avoided Dak Prescott because I knew he was going to be hot garbage. Smart move. And I avoided the running back Ezekiel Elliott because he hasn't been the same the last couple of years. So I knew that was don't even look at him. I avoided Christian Yeah, exactly. Don't go with the Cowboys. They got nothing. I avoided Christian McCaffrey because of his injury history. I avoided oh, are you getting that again? Okay. All right. Well, we'll wrap this up and see you guys next week, and then we'll touch on some college football and some basketball. I hope you guys enjoy it. Catch us again next week. Like and subscribe. You guys have a good one.